Please read the disclaimer. XRP holders, Trump just did it again. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. Let's get straight into it. So the crypto extreme fear is now the longest in years. That rhymes as well. The crypto fear and greed index sits at 8. You can see here, 8, right? This is the extending a 23-day run in the extreme fear, the longest since the Terra Luna crash in 2022. So it's been a long time, right, since we've seen action like this. And truth be told, right, do you feel fearful? I mean, yes, the prices are down, but there's something other than price action, right? Let's put price action aside, and Clarity Act. Let's put those two aside, right? Is there anything? Let me know in the comment section. What do you think? Because I'm not seeing anything out of that, right? And let's put in parentheses, right? That's what it's called in English, right? Yeah. October 10th, right? Because October 10th could be one of the reasons, the unwinding of that whole scenario, that could be one of the reasons why we're seeing the price action. But if you look at the fear, why would we be fearful, right? When Terra Luna was happening, there was a fear that the whole crypto market was going to unravel and collapse, and that people were losing significant amounts of money, and it was happening really fast. It was fast, right? And then FTX came, and there was unraveling, and positions were unraveling there. Well, now, things are extreme, but I'm not seeing a reason why. In my opinion, again, this is just my opinion. This video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest, of course. But in my opinion, I don't understand why this is such a prolonged period. I understand that many people are getting maybe depressed, or they are looking at the crypto market and they don't believe that the crypto market can recover. They're saying maybe this time is different, right? But this is the things that we hear every single time. And so, again, I'm not a prophet. Someone was like, in the video I did earlier today, he was like, well, you gave us all kinds of scenarios. Can't you just tell us what's going to happen? And my answer to that is no, right? I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I'm not a prophet. People that tell you that they know exactly what's going to happen, or they give you an exact prediction, run away, right? Because they don't know. And they might be right once, but the next 10 times they're going to be wrong. So just be careful out there, right? And this was interesting. Tom Lee says tariff ruling could trigger Fed rate cuts. The Supreme Court decision removing Trump's tariffs could cool inflation, says Tom Lee. With inflation easing and the job market softening, the Fed may again room to cut rates. Positive backdrop for equities and crypto. If you go to the probabilities, it's right now, it's a 97% chance that the Fed is not going to do anything this month, right? In March. So it's in 3 weeks, not this month, but March. Then April, right? Also 82%, nothing. And then June is the first one where we're like, okay, maybe there's a 44% chance that they might start reducing interest rates. And, the crypto market is not a lot has happened yesterday, today. XRP is up 1% here. Bitcoin up 1%, Ethereum up 1%, Solana up 2%. So small movements here on the weekend. Nothing similar to what we saw, last Saturday and Sunday. We'll see. Maybe it will change. I think maybe the lack of price action could be because of the waiting to see if President Trump is going to initiate the attack on Iran. So I think maybe money is sitting on the sidelines until that becomes more clear. But Trump heard, I think, Tom Lee, and he was like, hold my drink. And he says, President Trump raises new global tariff rates from 10 to 15. So this is based on a thorough, detailed, and complete review of ridiculous, poorly written, and extraordinary anti-American decisions on tariffs issued yesterday after many months of contemplation by the United States Supreme Court. Please let this statement serve to represent that I, as President of the United States of America, will be effective immediately raising the 10% worldwide tariff on countries, many of which have been ripping off the U.S. for decades without retribution until I came along, right, to fully allow the legally tested 15% level. During the next short numbers of months, Trump administration will determine and issue the new and legally permissible tariffs, which will continue our extraordinary successful process of making America great again, greater than ever before. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So this is a quote from Trump here, and they're going to be raising. So not only did he say, oh, the Supreme Court, right, brush off my shoulder, and not only 10%, but the next day he says, no, 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 not 10%, 15%, right? Now, if this would have happened back in April, February last year, the market would have gone berserk on this announcement. But I think that most of the tariff news has become I wouldn't say unimportant, right? But the market has processed that the tariffs weren't that bad. And if the tariffs go, because people were, warning, oh, it's going to collapse everything, it's going to be the worst thing ever, right? And then the market saw that it wasn't. There was so much fear there in February and March and April of 2025. And so the market now doesn't freak out that much. But it's interesting because on October 10th, we had that, oh, Trump is going to put 100% tariff on China, and the market collapsed. So interesting that he's now raising 5% on everybody. And the market was like, oh, no, we're okay with that. On China, no, 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 right? So very weird, very weird. I think the market is a little bit off because of the situation with Iran. It could be, That's my opinion. Again, maybe I'm totally off on this, but this is just what I feel from someone that looks at the market every single day and has been analyzing the market every single day for a while. This is what I'm seeing. Maybe I'm wrong about this. We'll see about that. Latest Japan SBI Holdings has launched a 10 billion yen, so it's about 64.5 million on-chain bond issuance that rewards investors with XRP. So we know XRP is big in Japan. We know that Japan SBI Holdings is the biggest supporter of XRP in Japan. We know that they also own almost 10% of Ripple. So it makes sense that there would be an announcement like this, that we would see something like this from them, right? So it will be very interesting to see what happens here with XRP going forward. Price action, again, I think that the market is waiting to see what is going to happen with Iran. And so that is, so you could call it suppressing the price action for now, but we'll see how it plays out if there is anything that happens in the next coming days. The White House hosted its third stablecoin meeting this week, and potentially we could see more meetings happen this week, and maybe we'll get an update. It could come out of nowhere, like they're talking about, end of April, maybe end of March. Maybe they're just, they only have a few little things that they need to confirm, and maybe we'll see the Clarity Act pass. I made a whole video this morning, if you missed it, about the possibilities of price action for XRP once the Clarity Act, if it passes. And so if you're interested in that, go watch that video after you watch this video, of course. But it will be very interesting to see what happens here with the Clarity Act. Now, if we look at what's coming up this week, so we finished this week, right? It's Saturday. Sunday is for you guys, it's the last day of the weekend. Here Sunday is the first day of the week, right? We have only Saturday off. Some people have also Friday off, but some people work half a day, but most people work still 5 days a week without Friday, Saturday, but Friday is like a half day. So like the supermarket and things are open half a day, and then Saturday, almost everything's closed. Not everything, but for the most part, everything's closed. And Sunday is the first day of the week. So it's kind of confusing. But let's take a look here. So we have this week, right? I'm just pulling it up here. We have a few things that are going on, right? So we finished last week with the GDP and with PCE, right? And the market really didn't react too harshly to others because it was their whole shebang with the president and the Supreme Court decision and all that. But this week, the only thing that I could really see that could give us some problems is towards the end of the week, Thursday, initial jobless claims. And then we have PPI. So we've seen the market react to PPI if it's too low. If it's too high. Um, if it's too low, that would be good, but it's getting very low, 0.4%. But still, we've seen in the past the market fall off on a bad PPI, so we need to watch that as well. Again, these are more daily thing, micro things, not macro, not broader things. So again, you need to know this, right? You need to know what's happening, so you understand why the market is up or down. Also, it's cool if a friend asks you, for example, why is a weak dollar good for the United States of America? Like my brother-in-law asked me yesterday. And I explained to him, I said, hey, listen, because if the dollar is weak, then there's a higher probability that countries will come and invest in the United States, right? They'll buy dollar and they'll invest in the United States. Moreover, there's higher probability that companies will come and create manufacturing in the United States because it could be cheaper, right? It's not that great for Americans and their exports, right? But you do have the tariffs, so that could, cover that. And it's not that great for Americans going abroad, right, for a trip. But for in economy, right, for fueling the economy and creating growth is good. Because he was like, why would that be good? Why is President Trump happy about that? So you can always ask ChatGPT, of course, or your favorite AI. But it's good to know what's happening and why things are going on in the world, and these help us, shape our opinions. It's very hard because there's a lot of things that are going on. There's a lot of factors that are going on, and many times people, they are too harsh, right? They jump to conclusions. When they're inexperienced, they do things very fast without thinking about it. FOMO or fear, right? And once you have more experience, you know that you need to be a little more calculated. You need to have a plan in place with all the scenarios, and you get a little bit more mature. Right? I said a while back, I'm waiting to be 60 plus, and I asked in the comment section, is it true that you feel a little bit more settled? And all the 60 plus year olds told me that yes, that's how it is. You feel more like settled. You're not racing to anywhere anymore. You feel a little bit more mellow, right? I'm already a mellow guy, but I'm almost 40. So in 20 years, next year I'll be 40. So it will be very interesting to see what happens. Maybe if I go back and I think what was going on last February, right? We were freaking out on the tariffs. A year later, it's not the worst thing in the world, right? Right now, the crypto market is doing extreme fear for 23 days, right? Maybe when I look back and 2027, February 2027, I'll be like, I remember when it was, right? I remember when it touched my mind. I forgot the words. What is that? CeeLo Green, right? And I'm going crazy. I can't sing loud because the kids are sleeping. Sorry if I was off key. So yeah, we'll see what happens when we're a year from here, and maybe we'll be in a totally different scenario. Again, I don't know, but I know that every single year, every single time frame is different. Technology advances, things change, and so it's always important to go with the flow and change and adapt and not be stuck in a certain way of thinking, because that's how you get stuck in a pigeonhole and you keep doing the same things and the same mistakes. Okay? It's very, very important. Again, as always, not financial advice, always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. Some of you have been hyping up the video. Tell you the truth, I don't know what the hyping does. And when I look at my statistics, you guys said that you're hyping, but I see zero. So I don't know what it does. It's not available for me yet. Maybe I need to Google it and see what it does. But if you're doing it, I appreciate it. I just don't know what it's doing yet. I'm not seeing any change. But keep doing it, and we'll see if that does any effect. But of course, we know that commenting and smashing the like button and watching all the way to the end, which you already did because you're watching this, really helps out with the exposure of the video. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.